Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Hierro, and on today's episode we're going to be talking about my experience with a midwife, why I chose one, and the benefits and maybe the not benefits, the pros, the cons of having a midwife. My very first pregnancy with Liliana almost 2 years ago now. I'm now experiencing my second pregnancy, and both times I decided to choose a midwife to help me through my pregnancy journey, my birth, my labor, delivery, and honestly, it was the best decision. It's something I would recommend to so many other moms, especially if you have a low risk pregnancy. We're gonna be getting into maybe is it a good decision for you? Should I look into this more? We're gonna be answering some questions. So with that being said, if you are excited to learn about what a midwife is and if you would like to have a midwife in your journey, please feel free to watch the rest of this video and share your experience with me in the comments if you've had a midwife or if it worked good for you. How did it go for you? What was your experience? With that being said, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so that you can watch more videos like this around entrepreneurship, motherhood, lifestyle, all the things. Okay, so let's get into why I chose a midwife. Well, I started reading what to expect when you're expecting, and I was looking at my different options, and I wanted to take the most natural route possible when it came to my pregnancy, my labor and delivery. I didn't have a vision of myself being in a hospital and going about it in the traditional way. It almost scared me. I didn't like the idea of that. And so I actually went and searched on Google midwives in my area, and I was actually 10 minutes down the street from my midwife and her birth center. So I went to go check it out. I got to tour it. They gave me an idea of how it goes and, explained to me what a midwife is. And after that, I was like, yes, this is the perfect option for me. So if you're looking for midwives in your area, be sure to check out your local listings. Look on Google, wherever you can closest to you. But I specifically chose to have a midwife because I had a low risk pregnancy. I wanted to go the natural route, and I just didn't want to be at a hospital. I didn't feel like it was encouraging. I had heard, stories about epidurals and inducing drugs, and I just wasn't okay with it. And I mean, that's fine. Everybody's journey is different, but that's why I chose to have a midwife, is so that it was a lot lower maintenance, not as much tech, not as much Western medicine. It's a lot more holistic, and I feel like intimate. I feel like it was really centered also on my health, and not only my physical health, but my mental health, my spiritual health. So that is why I chose to have a midwife. Now, where I found one, okay, like I said, I looked in my area, I connected with some resources, and that's how I came across my midwife. Be sure to check out any areas around you, and let's discuss how my experience went with a midwife. I actually have a paper here with my pregnancy now. I'm now 38 weeks, so I will be expecting my daughter here very soon. The one thing that I really liked about having a midwife was that I got to pretty much customize my birth plan, how I expected it to go, how I envisioned it to go, and what are my expectations, what are my standards, what would I like to have for my delivery, right? It's very personalized, and like I said, a lot more intimate and one-on-one, and I loved that I could come up with my own birth plan. So here's an example of what that's like, and the first thing that they ask is, tell us how you would like the birth environment to be. So I answered, I would like to have a lower lighting and relaxed, and candles and incense, and just very relaxing. I would like a ball here. I would like to just have it with me and my partner, or maybe my family members. I would like to have it in a certain, I wanted, this time I requested to have frequency vibrations playing, so binaural beats. So I can expect to have that when I show up ready to have my child. It's gonna be set out exactly how I would like to. The setup is beautiful. The birth center that I actually chose to have my child at is, it's so relaxing. It's literally like a room, nothing like a hospital room where it's like a lot of beeping and IVs and just all sorts of stuff. This is like beautiful room and the lights are down and so much more relaxing. Like, okay, yes, let's have this baby. So that was my expectation of how I'm gonna show up in my birth environment. The next question is, do you visualize incorporating water into your labor and birth plan, and in what ways? Okay, so my first thing is I had expected to have a water birth, and I planned with Lily, I definitely wanted to have my birth in the bathtub. I had heard great things about it. So I was like, yeah, why not? Within 15 minutes of arriving, they had to start filling up the tub and getting ready. But Lily, she was just she was on a roll. She was here with a mission and she got here really fast. So there was really no time for me to actually go ahead and get in the tub. And that's the only reason why I didn't have a water birth the first time. However, I was still open to it and I was so happy that they offered that option to me. The third question was, who will be there and what do you visualize they will be doing? Guys, I thought this was a really interesting question because I was like, well, I had never thought about it. I never thought about who I would have in there with me. Like, do I want my friends, my family? Who do I want? And Michael and I actually decided that we would love for it to just be us, to have that moment where we welcome our child into the world. He got to cut the umbilical cord, and it was just an amazing experience with Lily where we could actually just experience that moment as a family, our very first time together, the three of us. And the only people that were there were just me, him, and my midwife. And she did have a student that night who was actually, you know, getting some hands-on training. So it was really cool. I enjoyed it. The next question was, will your children be there and who will be looking after them? So this time, because I have a child now, do I want Lily there? Yeah, I would love to have Lily there, to have her welcome her sister and to experience that. I thought that was beautiful, you know? I don't know how it goes at a hospital, but again, I really love that they personalize these questions and help me to get an idea of how I want this to go. And of course, just have kind of a plan. There's really no plan, there's always a greater plan, let's be honest, but it was nice to set aside my standards and what I wanted for this. They asked me if I wanted photos and video during the birth. They asked me if I had had a baby and things that they should remember about my last experience. If I haven't given birth before, tell us about your mother's birth experience. So they wanted to kind of know, how did my mom's go? I didn't write anything with that one. I was like, okay, well, I don't remember. But I guess that's kind of to determine, was it a low risk, high risk? Where was their mindset at? Guys, I will have to make a whole video on that, but I definitely feel like pregnancy and labor and delivery, it has so much to do with your mindset and how you go into your pregnancy and your delivery. That will really, it can make all of the difference. And that's why I chose to have a very relaxing environment for myself. Another question is, tell us how you think you would cope with the need to transport to the hospital. So if you don't know, with the midwife, they don't do C-sections, epidurals, medicine, nothing like that, surgeries. So they have to make sure that you're okay with having a natural birth. And if for whatever reason you're not, but during your labor or delivery, there's a need for it, they need to know that you're okay with going to a doctor or going to a hospital setting. And so for a backup plan, for whatever reason, I don't believe in backup plans, but anyways, there's only one plan and that's to go there and have the baby. But for whatever reason, if I needed to get transported to the hospital, it was life-threatening, they would transport me there and I would get to pick to which hospital I would go to. And lastly, the last is your perfect. So again, I really just enjoyed that it was personalized. It really took into consideration, you know, Taylor, how do you want this to go? What are your expectations? How can we help you? I feel like that's another reason why I chose a midwife, is it was more so, what do you want? What is your goal? And how can we help bridge the gap? How can we bring a solution rather than, this is how it's gonna go, this is how it's gonna be, and you know, there's really no say in it. So most importantly, why I chose a midwife, of course, was because it was a holistic option, low risk, low tech, a lot of intimacy with my midwife and just having that relationship, that communication. She also offered me classes as far as birth classes, how Michael can help along the way in labor. And that's why I chose to have a midwife. If you guys have any questions about how that experience went, please feel free to drop them in the comments or reach out to me on social media and we can talk more about it. I'm sure I will have a video where I actually go into depth with my labor experience because that was amazing. It was a natural birth and just the way that everything played out that day, I'll definitely get a video out for you guys. But with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. This is why I chose to have a midwife. Please share your experience with me and I will see you guys on the next episode.